What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? It's your main man, Juggernaut of Arkatech Beatz. Platinum producers, multi-platinum producers, Big Pun Nas, Jadakiss, The Game, Prodigy of Mobb Deep, Killer Mike, Sci-Hi the Prince, Freddie Gibbs. You name it, we've done it. Welcome to the music production live stream. We're on every night at 9 p.m. Make sure you're checking us out. We do music production, cook up some beats live. At the same time, we talk about the music business. And, you know, for people who want to get into the game, we basically are showing people how to get in. Make sure that you're going to arkatechbeatz.com for more information. The information is on the screen. If y'all want to pick up any of the books as it relates to the music business, they are going to be available there as well. And listen, man, we're gonna just try to just jump into some joints, and let's see how it all goes down, right? I got some samples in here. And we're going to start trying to build these beats, man. We're going to start trying to build these things one by one. Shout out to the folks that come into the live. And, you know, we're going to get it going. I'll start a new track real quick. And look, if you're trying to learn how to use the MPC X SE, this is your place to do it, you know. So, let's go. Not that one. Four bar loop. Let's go. Shout out to everybody that's in the live. Let's go. Let's go. Listen, you rocking with your main man, Juggernaut. Shout out to my partner, Mike Trauma D. Arkatech Beatz. Multi-platinum producers. Big Pun, Nas, Jadakiss. Prodigy, Mobb Deep. Killer Mike. Game. Raekwon the Chef, RZA. Shout out to It's Temporary. I see you. Let's go. Shout out Anthony, what's up? Let's go. We added some hats to this. Try that again. Didn't finish it. Let's go again. Let's go. And this is a different type of hat to accent the hat that's already there. I'm doing a high-low velocity. Just trying to add some extra movement in. And that's an open hat. We're going to try to bring that velocity down. And remember, everything, when I talk about velocity, velocity is volume, all right? So just so that you kind of understand, velocity in our world is going to be volume. Typically, when we say velocity, is how hard or how soft we touch the pads. We'll see where it goes. You know, when we're dealing with samples, you don't know how it's going to wind up being arranged. We kind of have a basic template where we might start, but it's not where it may finish. So we just have to follow along and see where it goes. Let's go. Add that snare into it. Shout out Box Dog, what's up, man? Make sure y'all sharing the live, man, liking the live, man. The likes is way low. Let's go. Let's get this algorithm to work. Go up one BPM. I think it's gonna go faster. Yeah, tap that screen, y'all. Tap that screen. Let's go. about the time when I tell everybody either get a pair of headphones, a Bluetooth speaker, or take this phone into your car. It's almost go time. Let me know if y'all ready. I'm feeling this one. Let's go, get some likes up, let's go. Lay something down, right? I can't just keep going, right? I gotta lay something down. Let's do it. Ooh, let's try it again. Let's go again. Now, I like that pattern, but let's tell you, it's too busy. You ain't going to be able to rap on that. So let's try it again. Box. Typically we start with the hook. You want to start with the hook. You want to put all your instruments in and then pull back out. Pause. Let's go. Yo, Zach, what up? And if you notice what I just did, I just pulled out a kick drum, right? So listen to it. Listen to the first, maybe like 4 counts. He goes, right? Boom, boom, and then the dump, right? Right? So I don't really like that. So I'm gonna pull it back out. So listen to it now. And what we did is we give the beat a little bit more to breathe. Because you can sit here and you can rock it. You know, listen, I'm not trying to win a beat battle. Right? Like, you got to understand that we're not trying to win a beat battle. What we're trying to do is we're trying to make commercially viable records that people can rap on, put out, publish, that you can get royalties to get paid for. That's what we're trying to do. So that's really what this whole thing is about. It's about trying to make some music that's going to be dope. Yes, we want it to be dope, but we want to make sure that we're making it into a way that, hey, there's enough room for the artist to breathe on it, right? Let's go. Gangsta Gibbs, let's go. So now what I also want to do now, listen, y'all hear how it's basically going, right? Hold on. So I need this snare to really cut through this mix. I'm gonna put a little bit of EQ on it to make it I just need it to really pop through, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna use this thing. It's called Para EQ. It's part of the MPC. They have some presets in here, and then typically what I do is I go to a preset and then I'll adjust it. So we're gonna use the thicken one. Pause. And the thicken one, basically what it does is, if you notice, I don't know if you can see the screen, but if you go on the YouTube, you'll be able to see the bigger screen versus TikTok. Because, you know, TikTok is doing vertical, YouTube is doing horizontal. It has the low end kind of pumped up, and it has the low mid pumped up, and the high mid pumped up. So this is supposed to make it, when you put that much mid and low end on your snares, it kind of doesn't make it crispy. It kind of makes it a little bit more fat, if I have to say it that way. So the main thing, when Anthony Bustle's asking, how do you make all the instruments pop together without them feeling like it's overcrowded? Remember, we haven't done too much. We just added very simple things to it. We just really laid down the core of it. The sample is doing what the sample is doing. So when you're dealing with a sample that's already has something going on, typically a sample is already mixed and mastered, and that fidelity is already there. So now all we have to do is add on the percussion elements, and if we need to add on some more instruments, which I might just go into doing a string, or might be doing something, might be doing a string on it, might be adding a little bit, maybe a piano, might do a lead, and if I may find another guitar sample to kind of, just highlights and accents, things like that, just to kind of bring out the hook and the little elements of the verse, if that makes sense. Yo, shout out to everybody that's sharing the live. more. Let's go. There's more. We're gonna double this up, make it 8 bars. Gonna copy the sequence. We're gonna call that the hook. Followers. Shout out Tina Mark. I see you. Let's go. Tap that screen, bro. Now, so if you notice now, what I did is I brought in the second part of the hook, the second part of the sample, right? Y'all hear it? Shout out Twin Falls, man. You hear that?
Arkatech Beatz.
Come on, let's drive fast right here. Shout out to Big Pun, man. Y'all know it's a rest in peace to Big Pun, man. That's my first platinum record, first record we ever placed. Big Pun, 27th anniversary of Big Pun Capital Punishment. That's us, Arkatech Beatz. Shout out to my partner Mike Trauma D. Leatherface, that's us. Triple Threat on Terror Squad album, that's us. You name it, we've done it. Let's go. Somebody asked me earlier about, you know, some beat licenses and stuff, and I told folks that, hey, we got some limited beat licenses going on. We're doing very, very limited beat licensing, and people were asking questions about, you know, are we doing exclusive and these type of things, and the short answer is no. You know, producers can't really do the exclusive thing right now, and this is my take on it. This is just my take on it. It's because guys aren't paying their royalties, you know, and that's really the truth of the matter, is that when we give you an exclusive beat, it's supposed to be with a royalty attached to it. And what's happening is that a lot of independent artists don't set up the mechanism to pay the royalties like they're supposed to. Now, listen, things are easy now. You got DistroKid, you got all these places, TuneCore, all these places where you can split up and get people paid directly, and you don't have to do it. And even when you do it, even when it's that easy, guys are still not doing it. So, and then also what we want to make sure we're controlling the integrity of our catalog. We don't want you to take our music and then put it in places where we don't want it to be. So, you know, so when they're asking us about exclusive licensing, we don't do that anymore. We do regular licenses that'll give you enough latitude to put the music out, profit, make money, put it on videos. You have all the latitude to do those things. And then, you know, after you hit certain thresholds, you just have to re-up your license, because now you're making money. So once you're making money, you got to basically come back and you got to say, hey, man, I made some money. Let me up this license. Let me get more. And like, okay, we get it. That's how we do it. So now it's a better relationship versus the way that we used to have it, where, hey, we just give you the record and you do whatever you want with it. And, you know, we don't know what's happening. Yeah, Humboldt, yeah, it's about 1900. So honestly, I don't know if you notice, right? When I'm doing the beats here, if you notice, I do stuff where, like, say for example, I'm laying down my hi-hats. I use 16 levels, right? So, for example, where's my snare right here? Right. So I'll use a 16 level, right? Where, if you notice, the volume goes down on this one is the highest, this one is the lowest. So while I'm building the beat, I'm picking the levels as to where I want my instruments to land. Right, Jetty? So I'm picking where I want my instruments to land. So that helps to remove, a lot of the issues with leveling sounds. If you notice that. So if you go back through all of my lives, you're going to be like, yo, how come this guy is doing these beats and I don't see him mixing nothing? I don't see him doing none of this. I don't see him it's because I'm picking the sounds with one that has the right fidelity. Two, I'm normally when I'm laying it down, I always like to lay it down. But when I'm laying down the tracks, I'm leveling my stuff out the way I want it to be leveled out, especially when we're talking about the hats and the other percussive stuff. And then most times what you'll see me doing is I'll use this velocity here. If something is still too loud, I'll turn down the velocity on the individual tracks. And I like to do the velocity there versus doing track or channel mixer. Like, this is probably like my last thing of resort. Like, if something is just too low, then I'll go into the channel mixer and then I'll start to turn it up or turn it down. But I don't really have to do that a lot because I like to, again, really pick the sounds that work for me. And then if something is too loud, I'll turn down the velocity on the track. And then if I need to turn it up a notch, I'll go here. And then sometimes you'll see me normalize stuff and stuff like that. Yeah, by controlling the velocity and the pads, you can basically place it in the mix where you want to before you even start. So now if you see here now with my kick, and this one, my kick is overloaded. My kick is overloading, but I do that on purpose on the live because I want the live to bang. You know what I mean? But when it's time to really do the beat, I'm gonna bring it down. If it's time for us to place the music, then I'm gonna definitely bring it down. But here you can see it's totally overloaded. Look, if you look at my MPC, it's going into the red. We're here every night, 9 o'clock. PW, I see you. What's up, fam? And also too, I can't encourage you enough. Sample your favorite music. Like, sample your favorite music. Plug your favorite music into your sampler and loop up your favorite songs. And I know people are gonna say, "What do you mean to do that?" You have to sample your favorite songs so you know how your favorite songs sound. Like, you gotta hear them. You gotta hear how it sounds in the machine. You gotta hear how it sounds looped up. You gotta hear it. And you got to play the favorite parts of the record over and over again. You got to listen to where the snare is. You got to listen to where the bass is, right? And then what happens is, if you like those sounds, you try to find similar sounds, and then you try to place them similarly in those tracks. So you got a kind of an A/B comparison. Like, you need to check their mix versus your mix. You know what I'm saying? Like let me tell y'all something, right? In the beginning, when me and Mike was starting out, Mike had got his certificate in audio engineering from the Institute of Audio Research in New York. And I was working in the private sector. I worked for a Fortune 500 company at the time, right out of high school. I was a hot shot, you know what I'm saying, coming out of high school, whatever. But I used to go to work in Timberlands and all that type of stuff. So people didn't really like me and stuff like that. They thought I was going to rob them, right? So at the end of the day, when he was working at Loud, he was working in the mail room and stuff, and then he started to kind of work his way into, getting into the rooms where he could start hearing the beats. So he started bringing home some of these beat tapes. So he used to have beat tapes from like No ID and like Rockwalla. Like he used to have all these tapes from these guys from before. Shout out to them guys, man. And we used to listen to those tapes, man. And we used to listen to those streams. We was like, yo, why does this guy's music sound like this? Like we had to figure it out. Like we had to figure it out. We had to listen to it. Turn up your snare. Car test. Turn up your snare. You had to train your ears. And there's no shortcut to it. You gotta train your ears. Right? You gotta really train your ears. You gotta listen to how guys sound, and listen to what guys sound good on, texture wise. Remember, it's a marriage between vocals and music. So you gotta find the right sounds, man. That's gonna work, So that's when people talk about like the success of a guy like Drake. It's like because this is the guy that studies that. This is the guy that masters what it is to, what to do on the track and when and where, Like he understands that. And a lot of guys, they don't really study it. A lot of guys get in the studio, they get lucky. And, you get lucky for a few, but your luck will run out. It only gonna last for so long, Favorite all-time producer? It's gonna be between Timbaland, shout out to him, and Q-Tip. I know people gonna say Q-Tip, but yeah, Q-Tip, man, like that Q-Tip's, and then behind that would be like a Premier. Yeah, like there's a lot of special producers out here, man. There's a lot of special guys. So what I want to do with this beat now, I want to try to build out this hook, right? Because we're talking this through. For those people who came in late, we're talking it through. Very mean bass line. Y'all hear that? That's a very, very mean bass line. That's a very, very mean bass line. Listen, you gotta think about Q-Tip. Yeah, I just filtered the bass. That bass is really prominent there. You hear it. Hear that, right? gonna try to really, go somewhere with this, right? Let's work together on this. Well, I'm gonna walk you through this process a little bit. I want to add a stage piano in here because it's so relevant. Like, you can hear it, man. Like, if you don't hear it, I don't know what to say to you. But shout out to everybody that's in the live. Shout out to everybody that's been following. We're here every night at 9:00. Can I sample Sammy Davis Jr.? Nah, I'm not sampling nobody that I can't clear, man. I'm not sampling nobody that I gotta split any royalties with. I'm not sampling that. That's a wrap. Right? Uh-huh. All right. We're going to get this piano in. Ready? Let's go. And then we're gonna double that up. So let's look at the arrangement. So we're gonna just try to clean this up a little bit. And all I'm doing is just getting my notes to the grid. Then we're gonna just we're gonna select all of that. We're gonna copy it, and then we're gonna paste it to the other half of the grid because we only did 4 bars. And repeat it so. Prince, I hear you. Now I'm going to do even something crazy. I'm going to select all of this. I'm going to copy all of this. Right. Then I'm going to... We're starting on, what's that? It's a D sharp. D sharp, E flat. Alright, we're going to select it all. We're going to transpose it down. And then we're going to paste the other one that we had just now. Now we listen to it all. Hold on. Is that right? Let's make sure that's right. Alright, let's select all of that. Let's move it back up. I want to move it up. We're going to select it all. And then we're going to transpose it up to E sharp. And that should work right there. Let's go. See what we just did? Right? I gotta find one more sound on this. Landscape guy, what's up? See if we can find. We gotta find a guitar for this, I think. gonna use that sound. So where's Jedi at? Jedi, you still in the chat? So see like how I just added a sound in here? And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna 16 level it and I'm gonna use the velocity now to put it, rudimentally where I want it into the mix. Let's go. String to this, so let's see where we can get it. So listen, the one thing that's good about this new MPC, is the plugins, man. the plugins. Like how we used to have to go back and used to have a sound module and had to find the sound over there and then trigger it here and do the MIDI track and all that stuff. Like, that was crazy. No more of that. Now everything is built in. Built in, bro. And then with the pad performance, as you can see, it has the notes here. You can have chords, progressions. It's chromatic. Basically, keeps everything in tune. It's it's definitely a game changer. Shout out Landscape Guy. Shout out to Box Dog, New World Media. Shout out to y'all, Anthony. Shout out to you, Zach Tyson. Go Vibes, Landscape Guy, Born Ready. DJ Corey, I see you. Frank Rich, I see you. Thank y'all for sharing the live and all of the roses and liking the live, man. We getting it going. We're going to add a high string to this joint just to differentiate the hook from the verse. So what we do so far, we did the hook. We put an extra piano to accentuate the bass. Then we did, what else did we do? We did the an extra sound to just kind of start on at the 1 and the 4. And then now we're doing a string to just kind of now solidify our hook. And then when we go into our verse, those things will be pulled out, and then we have a clean canvas for people to rap on right there, right? So let's go. Let's lay that down. Try it again. Start late. Do it that way better. Whatever. I got enough. I'm gonna just cut it up. Let's see here. We're gonna select this. We're gonna select this part of the thing. This is the last 4 bars, and then I'm gonna just cut that out of there. And then I'll just clean this up here. Fix the end so that it's falling on the bar. So if you notice, what I'm doing is the note is supposed to stop at 3-1 on the bar. It starts at 3-1, and then this carries over, and then it ends at the end of that bar, and then it's supposed to repeat, right? So now we're going to just highlight the whole thing here. We're going to copy this. We're going to move the cursor to 5-1. Then we're going to paste it, and then we should be good. How do I know what string fits? I used it before. That's the only way that you would know. You got to go through your sounds. Typically, I pick a day out of the week where I am going through sounds. Like, samples, sounds. It's just part of your homework. As a producer, you have to go, you're only as good as your sounds. You're only as good as your arrangements, your sound selection. So it's up to you to really go through your plugins to know your go-to sounds, you know what I mean? So that you know exactly what you're looking for when you're looking for it. So you'll be like, oh man, I hear something, but I don't know what it is, because you haven't studied your equipment enough to know what sound is going to sound good on this. Or normally when you listen to a sample will have a whole bunch of embedded elements or embedded instruments. And it's up to you now to see if you can add on to those by bringing them up, bringing them out. So these are things that you just have to pay attention to, as and this is going to take time. This is something that, as you start to do this, and you've done it as long as I've done it, it's like you start to realize, okay, this doesn't sound good on that, or that doesn't sound good on this, or, and you try to put those things together. Shout out to everybody that's in the live. Shout out to everybody that's sharing the live. Yeah, it's basically like editing a movie. Like real talk, you know what I'm saying? And for those who know, how to edit movies, and I'm a little bit versed in, Final Cut, and versed in like, Adobe Premiere. Like, these are the things you have to know how to do. I said, what mic is that? This is the Rode Podcaster. So now what we want to do now, this string is loud, so I'm going to bring the velocity down. Now the velocity on this is different for the velocity. This velocity works different for plug-in instruments versus samples. For samples, it kind of treats it like a volume thing, but for instruments, the velocity has more to do with the pressure in which you play an instrument. So like, say for example, you have a piano and you have a softer touch to it. Like, that's really more what this velocity will start to do. It'll start to make the playing of the instrument, especially in the beginning, feel softer. So I use that at first. If it doesn't give me what I want, then in terms of leveling, then I'll go into the channel mixer, and then I'll bring the actual instrument down by itself. See how it's going down. And we just really just want it into the mix. We don't want it too high out. He said 40-year-old type beat. What you want me to do? Some trap music? You want me to do some trap music, man? Trap music on its way out, bro. The 40 music is coming back, man. Sorry. Yeah, y'all had a good run, man. But the truth of the matter, you destroy hip-hop with that. I said it. Go back to the verse now. Ready? Take a listen. Go, right? So this is basically where we rapping on right here, right? We good. Now we're gonna go back to the hook. Need to name the beat, right? We've been doing it. We ain't save it yet. Can you imagine? I gotta say this thing. I ain't save it yet. And not for nothing. I think this NPC been on all night. But yeah, boom bap is boom. Yeah, man, boom bap is back, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's the only way, man. It's like now we got to start hearing more lyrics, and you know we gotta really get back to that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and don't get me wrong, like I've been in Atlanta now from 2007. I was coming out of here in 2007, and we was peeping out the scene, and you know we was peeping out the scene, man, and we was here when you know, like Shorty Low was popping crazy, and you know, shout out to you know, rest in peace to Shorty Low. You know, we got a record with Shorty Low, and when we first met him, and just being in the clubs and just kind of feeling that vibe, that ATL vibe. You know, trap music is special, man. It's a different type of vibe, you know. But like with anything, it has to be balanced. It just can't be one type of music or one type of sound for too long. It becomes oversaturated, and then it kind of creates a situation where you can burn out a genre. The joint that we did with Shorty Low is a record with Shorty Low and Maya, right? Lady Marmalade Maya, that Maya. It's called About My B.I. About My B. Period I. Period. I'm gonna call this beat. What am I call this beat? What should I call this, folks? What should I call this, chat? What should I call this? I'm stuck on a name right now. So let me go to the chat. Let the chat help me with it. Yeah, a lot of it does sound repetitive, but you know what happens is that when we were a lot of us were sharing the sounds and sharing the process. You know, that's what we never did that when in my era. We didn't do that. We didn't share the sound. It was top secret. We didn't share the sound. We didn't share the samples. We didn't do none of that. Homie said call it 40 something. Can't call it 40 something, man. Oh, you want me 40 something, man? Why you gotta call it 40 something, man? It don't sound that old. Come on. Yeah, I like that. Share the process. I'm gonna do that. Share the process. Shout out to New World Media. We're gonna do share the process. Let's go. Amen. I see you. So now what we got to do is we got to do a second part of the verse. We're going to take the 8 bars of the second. We're going to we copied the verse. It's 8 bars. We're going to make it 4 bars, right? So we're going to split it in half. So we got 8 bars and then we got 4 bars. We put those together. That's going to give us a total of 12. Now, the thing here is that what do we want to add into the second part of it to make it sound like it's a little bit different? I want to copy over the piano from the hook. Yeah, we're going to copy this. And then we're going to go into verse number 2. And then we're going to paste it there. So let's try. Let's and then I need to do one more thing also. I need to see if I can find a way to pull out this bass line. Shout out Chris Bell. Let's go. So for those who just came into the live, I'm gonna show you. We're gonna just break down the beat like this. We're gonna break it down. You know, like I said, we started with the sample, and it got beautiful elements. Got it. Got bells, guitar, vocals. As a sampler, you can't beg for something like that. You beg for that. You pray to the sample gods for something like that, right? And we added a snare into it, and then if you remember what we did to this snare, right, guys? We beefed up the low end, right? The Wiz Khalifa would sound real good, something like this, all right? And then of course we're using a very, very heavy kick on this. Like that's a speaker buster, pause, hats, and if the hats are doing, if you hear, it's a velocity change, right? Up, down, up, down, up, down. So we're doing velocity with that. Shout out David Williams, right? You'll hit the like button on that. Let's make it go, right? So here we go. So now we got that hat in there. We got an open hat, I believe. Right. So, you know, just something just to mimic that of a drummer. You know what I mean? I'm not a drummer, but you know, you got to practice. You got to listen to those guys too. And then I added a different joint on that as well. You know what I mean? Just to make it do what it do. Right. So now I added this sound into it. It's a fall. And that's going to come in on every first and fifth bar, right? Then we added the piano, right? And it's really just chasing the sample. It's not supposed to be like, you know, if it's not supposed to be a situation where we're playing it like note for note. We're not doing that. What we're doing is we're just trying to bring out the drive the low end parts of the sample, the bass parts of the sample. Like that's what we're trying to bring out in there. And then the string is just to give us a little bit, you know, something high to listen to. And I decided to use a tremolo sting. So if you hear it, you can hear it with a little tremolo in it, a little vibrato in it. And then when we put it all together, we got this.
Arkatech Beatz.
Can't forget the strings.
Arkatech Beatz.
Y'all sharing the live. Switch to the verse. Let's go. 3, 2. Oh, not yet. False along. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Kind Frank, I see you. Smooth, what's up? Peace, Smooth. I appreciate that. Shout out to Oddball, man. Africa approves. I see it. Listen. Let's get it to another beat, man. That only took us an hour. That only took an hour, right? Listen, we're here every night at 9 o'clock, man. And this is what we're doing, which basically showing folks how to use this NPC. We're answering the questions real time. Yo, Dave East would be crazy. I need to reach out to that cat. Yeah, I need to talk to Mike D about that. Yeah, we haven't got a joint with him yet. I need to work that through. Yeah. Should we try that? Let's try it. Let's see where we can go with this. Harrison, what's good? Let's try it. Let's go into the 4 bars. Let's see what we can bring with this. You know what I'm saying? Like, these things are different. I don't know. I picked the samples, but I don't know where they're gonna go. You know what I mean? So it's really just you and it's me and you, and I'm building, and y'all watching me build at the same time, right? So let's see where we come with this, right? Hold on, I put this on the wrong. Put that on the wrong track. I'm gonna put it on a sample track. You don't want to get your sounds confused. Oh, the second verse gets a chop? Nah, this is a totally different sample. Try that. I don't know where this is going. we said why you produce with platinum records. I'm not sure I understand the question, Des. Let's go. So who I produce with platinum LPs? Big Pun, Nas, The Game. Prodigy, Mobb Deep. Jadakiss. Appreciate you. Let's go ahead and snare to it. Let's go. No. Try it again. Don't like that. Let's try it again. Let's go. Yeah, I like the other one better. like the other one better. But let me see. Maybe I'm not giving it enough tender loving care to get it to where I need it to be. I think I know what to do. Wait. Let's go to another track. Hold on here. Let's go to another track here. That's a kick hat. Okay. So what I need to find is a crash. Let me find a crash. And then I think this needs some like drum toms and stuff like that. Let's do that. Maybe not that yet. See what else we got here. They like put a flute on it. They like put a flute on it. Put a flute on it. My partner's saying put a vocal, try a vocal sample on it. So I'm gonna try that. Hold on a second. Let's try a vocal sample. We try that. Yeah, we're gonna chop it. We're gonna chop it. We're gonna chop it. Yeah, we're gonna do that. Save this. And I'm going to rapidly move on because I don't like where it's going. But hey, we gave it a shot. Homie said that's a hit. You about to find out. Let's see what we're going to get. coming. Gotta get a what you call it. Try that. Try it again. So we got another part of this sample that we're gonna add into it. Nope, I don't like that. There we go. I'll do another plugin. Oh, I didn't have to do another plugin. Oh yes, I did. I need to do another plugin. We're gonna go to the sub factory. Shout out to everybody that's in the live, man. Try a different sound. Gotta get the keyboard. Gotta get the keyboard. Try that. Y'all see me playing the piano off camera. That's what I gotta do here. So because it's an 808 bass, right? We have to make the bass line almost hit with the kicks. So what you saw me just do was insert it was a note right about here. I don't know if I can widen it up. See if that note, you see that note right there? I guess in between the other notes. So I had to kind of get it right there. use a DAW. Right now, I'm just using standalone. Right about that, I need a piano. Y'all hear it. What time is it? Man, we 2 hours in, man. What's going on? We be 2 hours in the joint all the time. Pluto says he's got his live too going on, but the arrangement sometimes be crazy. Listen, it's like this, man. We are doing this thing live, right? So a lot of people ask me, like, man, like, how do you do this live? Like, how do you make your beats, like your production live? Like, a lot of times for producers, they want to cook up, in the sanctity of their own space. Like, not everybody watching when you trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where I'm really just trying to open you up to the process, and it's trial and error. It's trial and error. Like, some things are going to sound better than others. Some things may be complete. Some things might be incomplete. Some things I may have to come back to later. It's just the nature of the beast. You know what I mean? It's the nature of the game. But listen, for the most part, we did what? We started like 3 different joints. You know what I mean? One joint is more complete than the other 2. But we got a good, it's definitely a vibe. Like, you know what I mean? It's definitely a good. Oh yeah, the MPC needs to upgrade. We gonna see what it is. Yeah, man. Shout out to y'all, man. Look, man, like this particular sample, it leaves us plenty of room. Like, it leaves us plenty of room. Like, it leaves us room for chords. It leaves us room for strings. It leaves us room for leads. It leaves us plenty of room because it has a a traditional R&B feel. So it leaves us a lot of room to do a lot of different things. You know what I mean? It's just, again, it's like it's like a math problem. We're trying to figure out what adds up and what fits in what place, right? So, just remember how this thing is working. It's working, one thing at a time. We're about 2 hours in. I'm just going to go back to the other 2 tracks that we worked on, just for everybody to listen to. Yeah, man, nice vibes. I appreciate y'all, man. We're here every night at 9 o'clock. Share the live, share the, if you want to repeat the live, if you came in late, you can always go back and you can watch them on YouTube. The lives are there at Arkatech Beatz. I'll put it on the screen so you can see. Everything is at Arkatech Beatz. You know what I mean? So. That one goes, like, man, this really goes. This is the last one that we did. Definitely a bunch of vibes. Listen, make sure y'all are following everything at Arkatech Beatz. Instagram, Twitter, X, Facebook, everything like that, you know what I mean? I appreciate y'all, man. People who's rocking with us and rocking with the channel, man, just make sure y'all sharing it with anybody that can learn from the lives, people that want to learn the music business. I got all of the recommended reading. This book on persuasion, you definitely want to play around with that, especially if you're, emerging artist. Folks got to make sure that they know, getting that education on knowing how to, really how to influence and, remember what you're doing now as an artist. You're influencing and you're creating trends and you're creating culture. So, it's very important for folks to kind of know the nuances behind that and, what makes a good influencer or makes a good artist in that fashion. Make sure that you guys are checking out the Ultimate Guide to Forming Your Own LLC. You got to form that in order to make sure you can do your business correctly. And also the Musician's Guide to Music Publishing. Without music publishing, man, you're missing out a big chunk of your money in this game. All right? Does anybody have any questions in the chat before I get out of here? I know a lot of folks asking questions, man. Listen, we're trying to share the process. We try to break it down. We try to make it easier. Because this MPC, it has a lot of features, and the thing about us when we're trying to learn a new piece of equipment is that we kind of gravitate to a lot of the things that don't help us to effectively make the music, right? So we might be playing too long in the effects, or we might be playing too long with the sample, or we might be playing too long with the chops, and then we're not making any music. And I want to get you to the point where you're making music, But yeah, if I had to, I know there was some questions earlier about favorite producers, and I had chosen Q-Tip, and I choose Q-Tip, and I'll tell you why. Q-Tip has this versatility that a lot of people don't give him credit for, right? You figure, this is a guy that has music with like Janet Jackson, and then this guy can turn around and then do those Tribe Called Quest albums, turn around, do Nas, like One Love, you know what I mean? Then do Apache's like Gangsta Bitch, and then, contribute to one of my favorite albums of all time, which is the infamous Mobb Deep. So, who could do it better than Q-Tip? So, tomorrow, can you break down how you reconstructed that beat from yesterday? Which one is it from yesterday, bro? Hold on, let me see. Let me save this beat, and then let me see which one we're talking about from yesterday. All right, yesterday we did the cook up yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday it was called the cook up. Let's open it up. Let's see which one we're talking about. Shout out to Anthony, man. Answer those questions. So was it this one? I didn't know if I reconstructed it. It had a different sample in it, and So the one that we which one was that? We did. What do we do with this one? We chopped the sample, bro. And then once we chopped the sample, on this. What we did is we just triggered it different. We said, so we did stop. So we just I remember what we did. We took a sample and we chopped it all the way down. So initially I think we had this sample, which was, hold on. Right, and then we changed it. We chopped it into. And I think that's really, yeah. It's just one of the things that we just been chopping up, you know. But I like this one because I had put a bass line in it. And I did that in the wee hours of the morning. Yeah, man, that's it in that joint. But you know, the deconstruction of it is really just chopping the sample. We went into a sample edit. And we went into sample edit, and then we went into trim, and then we did regions, and then it cut us into 16 slices. And then we assigned it to a bank, which was this one. to the latecomers, man. For the ones that came late, let me just go over the last beat that we did tonight. Yeah, definitely go back on that so you can see what's going on. We're going to be back here tomorrow at 9 o'clock. We're going to try to do some different vibes tomorrow. I think I'm going to look for some. I think I'm going to do some trap tomorrow. I just kind of my vibes, see how my vibes feel. But I'm definitely, thank y'all for rocking with me. Thank y'all for sharing the lives. Thank y'all for hitting the like button. Thank y'all for, just trying to trust me and learning the process. At the same time, for the artists that are looking for tracks, make sure you hit me on the DM. We try to get the music that we did in the live on the website the next day. But, it really depends on what's going on. And then also, like I said, once we start offering stuff that's on the website, those are going to be limited licensing, like just limited. So we're trying to really pick a very specific few artists that we're trying to work with. As far as the producer group, I am going to try to see if we can do something where I could talk more freely, because I can't really talk like I want to talk, because we're on TikTok and all of them, and we don't want to get flagged and all that kind of stuff. And then also, I can't play some of the other stuff. I can't play like some of the other songs that we may have produced and break it down because of all of the restrictions. So I'm going to try to get into a closed community circuit where we can kind of get into those things. But make sure y'all, like I said, following the live. We're going to be here at 9 o'clock tomorrow. I appreciate everybody that jumped on with us. I appreciate everybody that, rocked us with the live. I appreciate everybody that shares the live, that shares us with a friend, people who want to learn. I appreciate everybody that's trying to, just really spread the word on what we're trying to do here. We're trying to make it grow, right? So I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to play this as a parting gift. Let's go.